DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.
Wilmington hits a record no one wanted to see.
Plus, one state senator announces an ethics investigation into another.
And Delmarva issued a warning for seasonal scams that hit close to home for DETV. Those stories, along with sports and weather, are coming up. Good evening and welcome to DETV News, your trusted news source. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for joining us.
Topping our news, Wilmington reached a terrible milestone over the weekend with the shooting death of a 24-year-old woman. The shooting marks the deadliest year on record for gun violence in the city. Police were called to the 600 block of South Van Buren Street Sunday evening and found Sharday Fuller shot. She was taken to the hospital where she died of her injuries. No other information was released. She is the 33rd person to be killed by gunfire this year in Wilmington. That surpasses the city's 2017 record of 32 people shot dead. Police Chief Robert Tracy issued a detailed statement on crime statistics just after the shooting. While gun murders have risen, the city has seen an overall decrease in shooting incidents this year and a decrease in overall crime. Anyone with information on Fuller's murder is encouraged to call Wilmington Police. You can also provide information to Delaware Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIP-3333.
2 people were found dead in a Talleyville home this week. Newcastle County Police were called to the McDaniel Crest community for a welfare check after a neighbor reported mail piling up on their doorstep. When police arrived at the home on the 300 block of Cleveland Avenue, all the doors and windows were locked. After using forced entry to get inside, officers located the bodies of 2 people who have yet to be identified. Their causes of death are pending an autopsy. Police say that while the deaths are being investigated as suspicious, there is no ongoing threat to the public. Anyone with information pertaining to this investigation is asked to contact Detective McNasby at the number on your screen.
In other news, State Senator Darius Brown is facing an ethics investigation into what some have called a disturbing pattern of behavior towards women. State Senator Elizabeth Tizzy Lockman, who chairs the Senate Rules and Ethics Committee, announced Wednesday her committee will start the process in a few short weeks. Also this week, Brown was removed from another high-profile committee after an altercation with a fellow lawmaker. The senator reportedly got in a heated verbal spat with Representative Melissa Minor Brown during a press event on November 8th. Senator Brown will be replaced on the committee by Senator Marie Pickney when lawmakers return for the legislative session in January. In May, Delaware State Police charged Brown with offensive touching and disorderly conduct after he reportedly punched an acquaintance and threw a glass of water at her in a restaurant. His jury trial is set for December 1st. Before his arrest, Brown chaired the high-profile Senate Judiciary Committee. He was stripped of his chairmanship before later being removed from the committee entirely. Brown was elected to the General Assembly in 2018 and represents Wilmington's District 2.
Longtime former Wilmington City Council member and President Theo Gregory has been convicted of official misconduct. Gregory was indicted in 2019 for using his position on City Council to secure a city grant investigators said would personally benefit him and a nonprofit he founded. Shortly after the 2016 election, Gregory is accused of telling his successor, City Council President Hanifa Shabazz, that $40,000 in grant funds were earmarked for a nonprofit that he founded. That organization lacked nonprofit status at the time, but Gregory is accused of using Police Athletic League of Wilmington as a pass-through for the money. The PAL submitted a grant application which was approved and signed by Shabazz. The grant included a $20,000 payment to Gregory, who publicly acknowledged receiving at least $15,000 personally. He also admitted to the Wilmington Ethics Commission in 2019 that his actions violated the City of Wilmington Code. Gregory will be sentenced by a Superior Court judge on misdemeanor charges. He faces a sentence ranging from probation to 1 year in jail.
'Tis the season for the holidays. Sadly, it's also the season for scams. Delmarva Power joined with 100 other utility companies around the country to form Utilities United Against Scams. They remind people to be on the lookout for imposters using energy-related scams to steal money and personal information. They tried it here at DETV.
Hi, Ivan Thomas, Executive Director of DETV, and we felt it our obligation and our duty to make sure that we tell you about scams that's going on in Delaware. Last week, we had 2 Delmarva imposters, that's right, imposters, coming to DETV to collect a balance that did not exist.
I'm with Delmarva Power. I'm here about an overdue electric bill. It's due to be shut off today.
So I was a little skeptical, and I didn't flow with what I should have done. But I want to spend my time right now to tell you what you can do. 1, ask for identification. You can ask for their driver's license. You can ask for their badge. You can even look outside to see if they're driving a Delmarva vehicle. Look for Delmarva clothes as well. 2, if you feel a little shaky, make sure you call Delmarva right in front of them. And 3, call the police. There's no harm in that, and see what happens. Also, take out your cell phone and take a quick picture. See how they react. All right, this is Ivan Thomas, and we want to make sure, and we will keep you informed of all the holiday scams and what's going on in Delaware. All right?
While scams occur throughout the year, Delmarva says they pick up during the holidays. Most scams, like the one tried on DETV, attempt to trick people into making payments to keep their service on. Delmarva will never ask for your account number or any other personal information or ask someone to pay with a prepaid cash card. The utility company will also not send anyone to your door demanding an immediate payment. To identify Delmarva Power employees, look for a uniform with a patch and company ID badge. Delmarva is urging anyone who has fallen victim to a scam to report the incident to police and to the company.
We have another scam alert to tell you about tonight. The Delaware Department of Transportation and the Division of Motor Vehicles says people have been receiving text messages that read, quote, "Complete your real ID upgrade below," with a link to click. That text is not a communication from the DMV and should be ignored and deleted. The DMV does not send ID verification notices via text messages, and like Delmarva, does not ask for personal information, such as driver's license numbers or social security numbers in this way. If you receive a text like this, report it to authorities.
A May 2022 trial date has been set for Delaware's embattled state auditor. Kathy McGinnis was indicted on official corruption charges last month. She's accused of hiring her daughter for a no-show job, rigging a contract to avoid review, and intimidating whistleblowers in her office who spoke out against her conduct. She faces 2 felonies and multiple misdemeanors and has the dubious honor of being the first official in recent memory to be indicted while in office. Some lawmakers have called for her resignation and are grappling over whether they can legally remove her from office before the trial. Earlier this month, McGinnis unsuccessfully applied for state taxpayers to foot her legal bills.
We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. There's much more ahead. You're watching DETV News.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like, what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Hi, I'm Dr. Neil Hochstein at ENT and Allergy of Delaware. We've been very fortunate to be protected from COVID-19 with the vaccines, but now we're hearing a lot about booster shots. If you're over 65 or have some immune compromise, Booster shots are an effective way to strengthen your immune system again. It's the same vaccine that you received with your first or second dose, and it can extend and strengthen the protection that you've already received. Keep yourself and your friends and family safe. Thank you.
Welcome back. William Penn High School students learned a lesson in the cycle of life this week. A mobile meat processing truck came to their school to harvest turkeys and laying hens they raised for 22 weeks. Students in the school's agricultural program were taught an empathetic lesson in the importance of harvesting animals raised for the purpose of providing food.
So we do acknowledge their fears, worries, feelings, and we ask them and challenge them to turn that into a passion, to learn more about where their food comes from. Because the more educated we are about where our food comes from, we can make better, healthy choices for ourselves, our communities, and our families and the world. So that's what our hope is for today.
One senior said she plans to be a farmer and appreciated the lesson.
I'm actually happy to get the information. When I grow up, I do want to be an ag teacher and a farmer, so I do want to educate kids, so I like the experience that we're getting today and no hard feelings, really.
The harvested turkeys weighing between 18 and 22 pounds will be given to raffle winners just in time for Thanksgiving.
In other news from schools, Capital School District's South Dover Elementary School has earned Delaware's Sapphire Award for Excellence in School Counseling. In its second year, the award recognizes school counseling programs that serve all students. At South Dover, all students participate in conflict management classes. Others are connected to additional resources. School officials say the program has resulted in a significant decrease in behavior problems. The school will be formally recognized in February and is now eligible for the national award from the American School Counselor Association.
And there are more success stories for schools. 14 schools across the state are being recognized for improving test scores for students learning English as a second language. Called English Learners, the students made gains on state tests given each year to gauge student progress. Blades Elementary School in the Seaford School District earned federal recognition, which comes with $10,500 award. The remaining 13 schools, both district and charter, were named 2021 recognition schools by the state and will receive $8,000, a certificate, as well as a banner.
Continuing on the education front, as part of a nationwide initiative, the Boys and Girls Club of Delaware has a new digital program to help young people and their families learn about financial aid and how to pay for college. The online program is called Diplomas to Degrees. It guides high schoolers through their post-secondary education and career planning journeys. Diplomas to Degrees can be accessed through Boys and Girls Clubs of America's online platform called My Future. The curriculum includes activities for teens to learn about college costs, understand financial aid, learn how to find scholarships, and understand student loans. The program also helps club members identify trusted adults who can guide them through the journey. Navigant, a leading provider of education loan management programs located here in Delaware, has partnered with the Boys and Girls Club to make the program possible.
In the future, homes in Newcastle County will be easier to outfit with electric car chargers. Thanks to new legislation signed by County Executive Matt Meyer, the energy-saving vehicles will have more places to juice up. After arriving to a news conference in one of the county's 12 electric cars, Meyer was surrounded by county and state officials as he signed the law. It requires new and home improvement constructions to include basic infrastructure needed to install a charging station.
Our transition to electric vehicles won't just mean a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. It will also have public health benefits from breathing cleaner air.
The law goes into effect next July.
Improving the availability of public charging stations, that's the goal of a grant program announced this week by the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control. DENREC expects to award $1.4 million in grants. Funding will be targeted to recipients who increase access to fast charging stations where locations are limited. Transportation is the largest single source of greenhouse gas emissions in Delaware. The funding supports Delaware's Clean Transportation Initiative programs, Those programs include rebates for light-duty electric vehicles and some charging stations. Proposals are due by April 15th.
Delaware State Parks received the Gold Medal Award presented by the American Academy for Parks and Recreation Administration. The 2021 award was officially presented to Delaware at an event on Tuesday at Brandywine Creek State Park. The first state beat out Ohio, Tennessee, and Texas for the recognition, while joining Florida as the only other two-time winner. Delaware State Parks are celebrating their 70th anniversary this year.
1 week before Thanksgiving, the Sunday Breakfast Mission is putting out a call for more food. Reverend Tom Lehman, the senior pastor and president of the mission, says the donations are running about 50% of what they usually receive.
Yeah, every year for the last 18 years, we have done a food drive to bring in the food that goes into the food boxes you see behind me. The problem this year is that it's coming in right now at about 50% of what we were getting last year, and really is putting us in a bind. And for that reason, we're having to purchase. That's the reason why we have the stacks of cans right here. It's not coming in.
The freezer, usually packed with turkeys at this time of year, is nearly empty. Lehman said about 1,500 families are expecting dinner to be delivered for the holiday. The shortage means the mission would be forced to purchase food if donations don't start rolling in. To make a food donation, drop off Thanksgiving fixings at any WSFS bank.
The Delaware Art Museum recreated a groundbreaking exhibit of African American art from 50 years ago. The vision of Percy Ricks brings together more than 130 artworks from 66 renowned African American artists from New York to Washington, D.C.
And we did that to ensure that the good work of Percy Ricks, his scholarship, his dedication to the Wilmington community is thoroughly documented. It's documented so that generations ahead of us can continue to be inspired by the work that he did.
Percy was an award-winning curator and artist in his own right who founded a Wilmington nonprofit dedicated to supporting the arts. He was born in Washington, D.C., and was the first black art teacher in the area's public schools. In 1971, he brought together some of the most important established and emerging artists of the time. The exhibit will be on display until January 23rd. The museum is open Wednesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and is free on Thursdays from 4 to 8 p.m.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Nick Alessandrini will be here with your sports, so stay with us.
Auto accident, medical negligence, work injury. Contact Team Tice, your Delaware personal injury lawyers. Leroy Tice in Wilmington, Delaware, serving and supporting the people of Delaware. Call 302-489-2400. That's 302-489-2400. Online at teamtice.com.
Welcome back into DETV News. I'm Nick Alessandrini. It is now championship season this fall as many of our sports are wrapping up their tournaments and other sports like football are just set to begin theirs. But first, a recap from a big matchup last week, the Battle of Undefeateds in Class 2 as Archmere traveled to DMA on Friday night. Playoff seeding implications were at stake there for both teams, and the Hawks would jump on the board first. Cam Kilakoglu would hop on a fumble late in the first half, and the Hawks offense would capitalize. Quarterback Chris Albero would find Connor Udovich for a 17-yard touchdown score. Then a little bit later on, Archmere would go 62 yards and 9 plays, capped off with an Albero 8-yard touchdown run. The Hawks up 14-0. Another DMA turnover in the third would lead to another touchdown connection from Albero to Udovich, and Archmere runs away with this one on the road, 27-7. Albero threw for 91 yards. 2 scorers also ran for another. Udovich, he caught both touchdowns for the Hawks, and DMA's Devin Green rushed for 131 yards and the Seahawks' lone score. So what does this mean for potentially the most wide-open playoff in recent memory? Well, you can now see the Class 2 bracket on your screen. The Hawks, they get now the top seed and that first-round bye. Also, the unbeaten Woodbridge Blue Raiders, led by first-year coach Marvin Dooley, they grabbed the 2 seed and a bye for them. The Quakers from Wilmington Friends, shocking a lot of people this year with how well they've played, they get the 3 seed. And then the very tough 1-loss Caravel Bucks get the final first-round bye as the 4 seed there. DMA falls from potentially grabbing that 1 seed if they were to beat Archmere last week. They fall all the way to 5 and will now play a first-round matchup with Concord this weekend. Now we're going to take a look at our Class 1 bracket led by the 8-2 Laurel Bulldogs. They grab that number 1 seed. St. E's, a very impressive regular season for them as well. They go 9-1. They get the 2 seed in Class 1, and the Vikings' only loss came just last week in that tough matchup when they went up a class to play against Caravel. Kasim Benson dealing with an injury in that matchup. Hopefully he'll be okay as he's one of the better players in the state for St. Elizabeth's, and the Class 1 playoffs will get underway Friday the 26th and Saturday, November 27th. And last but certainly not least is our Class 3 football bracket. Round 1 matchups are set to begin this weekend. As you can see on your screen, Sussex Central and Cesar Rodney are set for Friday the 19th. William Penn and Hodson, Appo and Cape, those first-round matchups will be played on Saturday, November 20th. The Smyrna Eagles, they grab the 1 seed, and of course the Middletown Cavaliers get the 2 seed. Both teams looking at first-round byes. Sally's, they get the 3 seed. St. George's gets the 4, and they will meet Dover, who's the 5, in a fantastic first-round matchup. So football postseason getting underway this week, but some other fall sports have already crowned champions. The St. Mark Spartans earned their 12th volleyball state championship with a 3-0 sweep over second-seeded Padua on Tuesday. The second straight volleyball title for the Spartans, who took home the championship back in 2020, as well as 33 straight wins and back-to-back undefeated seasons for St. Mark's. Congrats, girls. We have our D1 soccer finals set after a tough semifinal round. Top-seeded Cesar Rodney, they find themselves in the state title game after a 4-1 win over Sussex Central on Tuesday. The Riders finished the regular season with a 14-0-1 record, and that tie came back in the first game of the fall season. They've racked off 14 wins since then. They're going to look to stay hot against a very tough and well-known Salesianum soccer program that's also in the championship on Saturday. Sally's was able to get a little bit of redemption over Appo in the semis, 2-1 victory there after dropping the title game to Appo last season. Jake Ross scored both goals in the Sal semifinal win. Now it's number 1 CR, number 3 Sally's, Saturday at 4 at Dover High School for the state championship. We also have our championship set for D1 field hockey. Number 3 Smyrna jumped out early on number 2 Wilmington Charter. They scored the first 2 goals of the game on their way to a 3-1 victory and a spot in the title game. They will meet a team that knows quite a lot about state championships, the Cape Henlopen Vikings. The number 1 seeded Vikings finished 14-1 in the regular season, that 1 loss coming to Delmar. Cape did beat Smyrna during the regular season 4-1, and the Vikings are looking for their 5th straight field hockey state title. Championship again will be played this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at Dover High School. The Delaware Blue Hens will look to send off their seniors the right way this Saturday in a Battle of the Blue, the big rivalry game with Villanova. This will likely be the last game of the season for the Hens, who come into the contest at 5-5, just outside that projected playoff hunt. Delaware won the CAA in the spring season, but lost starting quarterback Nolan Henderson early this fall. Delaware will look to end on a high note, so come out and support the Hens on Saturday. It's senior day in Newark. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. And that'll do it for sports this week. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more DETV News.
This message is brought to you by Newcastle County Government.
Many wonder, what is a variant? A variant is a mutation or a change in the genetic sequence of the virus. Some of our methods of treating COVID-19 become ineffective. If we were to simply get vaccinated, we could decrease the spread and the likelihood that a mutation would form in the first place. Let's get vaccinated.
Welcome back. In its 65th year, the Wilmington Ballet is currently in rehearsal to perform the Nutcracker Ballet, just in time for the holidays. It all begins December 17th at the DuPont Playhouse on Rodney Square. with guest dancers from the famed New York City Ballet, the Dance Theater of Harlem, and the Alvin Alley Dance Troupe. The performance promises to be one for the record books. Also performing will be Miss Delaware, Sophie Phillips, and 6-year-old Lamar Marshall, a discovery of Miss Delaware, who is now a Wilmington Ballet scholarship student. Director Benjamin Sterling Cannon says his dancers will be ready.
They are ready. We are ready. We still have 4 weeks of rehearsal to go. We're perfecting all of our choreography and making sure that we are presenting ourselves so that the audience can enjoy themselves and create some wonderful holiday memories.
Tickets range in price from $18 to $55. They're on sale now at wilmingtonballet.org.
About 200 motorcyclists from the Blue Knights Delaware chapter delivered bags and boxes of toys last weekend. It was the 38th annual toy run for the group. The bikers, many retired police officers, rode from the Old Mill Creek Fire Hall in Marshallton to the Salvation Army in Wilmington, escorted by several police departments.
We want to give back to the community the way the community always has been there for law enforcement and for the general public. We try to help them out. We've been doing this for the Salvation Army since 1984 because everybody, especially this last year, during COVID, everybody is in need of a little bit of assistance, and that's what we've been trying to do this year again.
Toys will be distributed to needy families through the Salvation Army.
The Delaware Community Foundation and the town of Georgetown lit up the area known as the heart of the city called the Circle in green this week. It's a colorful way to celebrate the impact of philanthropy and the people who make it all happen. It also symbolizes efforts to increase the quality of life in Sussex County. National Philanthropy Day is celebrated on November 15th each year.
DART's 24th annual Stuff the Bus Thanksgiving food drive collected 12 tons of food. Lauren, get this, that's over 24,000 pounds. The week-long food drive took place last week at locations all up and down the state. Donations were received from the public as well as businesses, schools, organizations, and state agencies. In April, DART held the Stuff the Bus COVID-19 relief food drive that collected nearly 5 tons of food. In total, Stuff the Bus food drives in 2021 collected 16.8 tons of food. The Delaware Food Bank distributes the donations through hunger relief partners who make certain Delaware residents in need of food get assistance. If you'd like to donate food, contact the food bank at the information on your screen.
Before we sign off this evening, we have some exciting news to share, and it comes right here from DETV. Beginning next Tuesday, DETV News will present a special series we're calling Everyday Angels throughout the holiday season. We'll be highlighting everyday heroes in our community and sharing their incredible stories with one-on-one interviews and meaningful conversations about how they're making a difference in Delaware. And of course, we'll be right back here on Thursdays to bring you the top stories of the week. I can't wait. We've got some exciting people lined up.
I know. I don't want to give them away, but they're really, really special people. I'm super excited to meet them.
That's right. Well, that is our weekend review. Thanks for watching DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson.
And I'm Matt Ford. Be sure to check us out across social media. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is sponsored by Newcastle County Government.